Today is Friday, Parashat Va'era, and tonight is going to be both Shabbat and Rosh Chodesh. And the Shabbat and Rosh Chodesh, when you have a combination of both sanctities, the sanctity of Shabbat and the sanctity of the time of Rosh Chodesh, it reminds me of a story that is brought by Rabbi Shimshon Pinkus Alav Shalom about the Alexander the Great, who went to a very faraway country to see how these people, how they judged people in that country. And he came to a court of law and he saw the king judging these two people who were having an argument. And what was the argument? The argument was a person bought a field from someone, and after he bought the field, he found in the field a treasure chest full of diamonds and gold coins, a real treasure hidden under the ground. So he came to the person who sold him the field and told him, I bought from you the field, I didn't buy from you this treasure, and therefore the treasure belongs to you. And the person who sold him the field is saying, sorry sir, I sold you the field, and since the treasure was inside the field, the treasure belongs to you, the buyer. And they're arguing over who should have the treasure. Usually, typically, when people go to a court of law in most places, is to claim something that is coming to them. Here, they went to a court of law to convince the other person to take what they believed the other person was entitled to. So the king was asking them, do you have a daughter? And you have a son? Yes. Well, then let them get married and they'll get the treasure. And therefore, you both will be fulfilling what each of you wants to accomplish. To give to the other one, well, your daughter and son being married together and getting the treasure will settle the matter. And Alexander was very impressed and said, wow. So the king asked him, what would you do in your country? He said, well, in their country, they would confiscate the treasure. And the king asked him, well, do you have rain in your country? He said, yes, it must be in order to take care of the animals and creatures that need the vegetation to be able to eat. So basically, this story illustrates of that the son and daughter marry and inherit the treasure, and each one of saying is of the people in the court saying, no, it belongs to you. This illustrates a little bit some of the aspects of the Kedusha of Shabbat and the Kedusha of Rosh Chodesh. The sanctity of Shabbat comes to us from the time of the creation of the world. It's set by Hashem. There's a cycle of 7 days. On the seventh day, it's Shabbat. Every week, no matter what, doesn't depend on our decision. That's how it is. The Kedusha of Rosh Chodesh depends on Am Yisrael. That's why we say, Mekadesh Yisrael ve'azemanim. Hashem sanctified the Jewish people and the times. He gave us the key to decide when Rosh Chodesh begins. It used to be that the witnesses would come and say that they saw the new moon, and they would give a testimony in Bittan, and they would declare that the month has started. Now we have a calendar that has been set by Chachamim for generations and generations. But still, the concept is Am Yisrael set up when Rosh Chodesh starts, and based on that, what day will be the holidays that are in that month. So the Shabbat, Am Yisrael tells to Hashem, it all belongs to you. You tell us when it is. Rosh Chodesh, Hashem tells us, that belongs to you. You decide when Rosh Chodesh begins, even to the point that in Rosh Hashanah, Hachamim tell us that in Shamayim they don't start the judgment, they don't start the day of Yom Adin of Rosh Hashanah until Am Yisrael decides, now begins the month of Tishrei. So Hashem tells us Rosh Chodesh belongs to you. You decide when Rosh Chodesh begins. But when we have Rosh Chodesh and Shabbat happening at the same time, it's a combination of both aspects. Just like that daughter and the son of those two people get married and they both enjoy that treasure. So the Kedusha of Rosh Chodesh and Shabbat coming together this coming Shabbat, we give what Shabbat deserves in terms of the Kedusha of Shabbat, and we also sanctify the Kedusha of the time of Rosh Chodesh as we begin Rosh Chodesh Shvat, the beginning of the month of Shvat. And on the month of Shvat, in the Mishnah, according to Bet Shammai, the Rosh Chodesh Shvat is the beginning of the year for the trees. According to Bet Hillel, the 15th of Shvat, Tu Vishvat, is the beginning of the year for the trees. And so it's a meaningful date of Rosh Chodesh Shvat, and the month of Shvat, in this month, the sap will begin again to flow in the trees, and the trees again start their new year. And that's why also in this month, and typically on Tu B'Shvat, this year Tu B'Shvat is going to be on Shabbat, so it will be on the Sunday. We will plant trees, and also we have the custom of eating new fruits and saying many brachot on fruits of the trees on the day of Tu B'Shvat, which will be in 2 weeks from tomorrow. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.